Hey, what's up, Turtles? It's Krik here with Black Outdoors. Today I'm going to be doing a review on this Ontario BlackBird SK-5 fixed blade knife. This was designed by the fellow from, I think, Hedgehog Leatherworks. I think some people call this affectionately the Hedgehog knife. I think this name's Paul. Don't know for sure. But this is, get it online for around $100. I think when it came out, it was well over $200. So if you can get this for around $100 shipped, you're getting a great knife, and that'll make a little bit more sense once I get into the details of the knife and all that good stuff. First, I want to talk about the sheath. Weighs 3 ounces. It's this nice Cordura. I think it's Cordura. Either way, it's nice nylon. There's no front little pouch that on some survival tactical knives you'll see for like a sharpening stone or a fire kit. But that's okay. There's a little bit of molle here. You can attach it if you desire. Completely molle compatible here on the back. That you've seen a lot of sheaths, tactical sheaths. And stony, I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up, but there's just like this thin layer in between this. Let me try to get it. Thin layer compressed in between here. I don't know if it's some sort of polyurethane or whatever. You picking that up? Yeah. I've never seen that before, but something I wanted to mention. And all this is made in the USA. I think the sheath is made in the USA, the knife is, and I know the steel is as well. But it's a really nice sheath, and I wanna comment on the sheath, because usually some knives, if the price is going to drop, you're going to sacrifice some quality in the sheath, but not particularly for this one. And on here as well, I can sort of tension how this strap is going to go around the handle by this little hook and loop. Again, nice feature, and it is belt. It's a fixed belt loop. I can't change that. And normally I do not like that on knife sheaths, but because this one, you can see it's holding its shape, I have no problem threading this over a belt, a larger belt. For some of you military tactical LEO people who like these types of sheaths or use them. All in all, a good sheath, really like it, and I think, like I said, 3.5 ounces. Now I got the knife out, just keep talking about that. I'm going to call this as a sort of survival bushcraft knife. It's an overall length of 10 inches, so it's definitely, you know, big enough that it's a survival task that people really like to see or be able to have knives this size do. Blade length 5 inches. I think the weight of this knife is 8.4 ounces, and that's one of the things that you won't really pick it up on camera, but the feel of this knife is light. For a 10-inch knife, it feels really light. A lot of the weight's hanging here, back here on the handle, but I like that, and because of this a 10-inch knife, it still feels like good to do bushcrafting and woodwork with. It's not so heavy, which I think was with the intent and purpose of the fellow who designed this knife. And the blade material is 154 cm stainless. I don't really have any experience with a knife using it. The research I've done, people have really good, good experiences with it. Stainless. It's supposed to hold a good edge, rust resistant. Thunder booming behind me. And micarta handles, and this is a really comfortable knife. Like I said, the weight, it's not a completely balanced knife. The weight's here. But what that allows you to do is really still feel like this is a fine woodworking knife with the less weight up here. Micarta handle is really comfortable. This swoop, I've done recent video on a comparison on a couple knives, and I like this design. It's really comfortable in my hand. Really comfortable, and holding this for a long period of time is very comfortable. There's no jimping on the back of the spine, which the spine is ground real quick to throw sparks before I lose that train of thought. Spine is ground, as like I said, so survival knife. Get sparks off a ferrocerium rod, no problem. Nice touch for a survival knife. Because there's no jimping here, I know. Actually, I wanted to mention this is on loan from our friends Uncle Chuggies. He's given us a few products before, and there's no jimping on this. And him and I talked about it. But because this is extra finger lock or finger, whatever stay, if you will, from keeping your hand to jump up. That once you get in here and you're doing fine work with this, jimping back here really doesn't make the difference, because you have a lot of contact around your index finger on this. I really don't need the jimping for extra grip or friction, all that good stuff. I just want to do a couple cuts and whittling with it. Like I said, it's a flat grind, spear point, I forgot to mention that. And for woodworking, these are not fun knives to cut with, this type of edge profile. I'm a huge fan of Scandinavian grinds and modified Scandies. But like I said, this is not a heavy knife, only 8.4 ounces, which is really light. The thickness I want to say the spine thickness, I think 3.3 millimeters, which is just a little bit over than the Bushcraft Black and Heavy Duty Companion Moras. You still get a lot of feel and a lot of finesse with this knife, and which makes it fun and comfortable as survival knives go, to find that sort of happy medium ground of being able to use it and you know, just having it fun to do some woodworking and bushcrafting. Because like I said, I'm not a huge fan of flat grinds for fun knives to use in woodworking, but this one, because it's light, can still do that. I really feel like the money's right here in this spear tip. It's really comfortable to use this and push the swoop of the blade. If you want to do some small tasks, you want to do some whittling, you can really get control of this knife with this spear point, spear tip design. I really like this knife, and for these reasons I'm mentioning right now. But like I said, it's not my primary, you know, blade grind type. I really like modified Scandies, but like I said, for a 10-inch knife, this is a really cool, fun knife to use for bushcrafting and as a survival knife. I do get on the ground, do a little bit of batoning with it. I know people like to see if it's able to, the strength of it, and this is a strong knife. Never feel like I'm in jeopardy of gonna hurt it or weaken it or anything like that. And obviously I can baton larger pieces of wood. You can see how much is sticking out. Digging in the super saturated substrate. Just rained for days out here. Humid. Hair's going all crazy. But there you go, just pounding on that, and it feels just really strong. Take it down a little bit smaller, get some smaller pieces of kindling. Going through it pretty easy. And this wood is just saturated. I don't know if the relative humidity is right now in the air, but I can tell you it's really high. Let's get this on here, make a little bit of it. Didn't work. And I gather this wood off of a tree that was standing, or not standing, it was falling over. But this wood was not touching the ground, and it's just damp. It's wet. I mean, these fibers are just, I don't know, really wet out here. But either way, the knife works great. All the features I said, like I said, for $100 for a potential survival and a bushcraft knife, this could be just a great buy. And it's really hard. You know, Stony and I have talked about this, about finding one knife that's going to do everything, or one piece of gear that's going to straddle, you know, everything. It's going to be lightweight but heavy, and you know, blah blah blah. So as one knife goes to carry out in the bush with me as a survival knife, and still able to use if I want to sit around and whittle a bush pipe or whittle something nice, still, you know, the potential's there, like I said, because it's spear point tip, the way this blade swoops down, it's still really comfortable to move around in my hand. Blades, the handle's really comfortable. I like the micarta, I like this little finger stop here. So all in all, it's a really good knife. Could potentially be a nice, you know, addition to someone's kit. It's the knife you're looking for. This is Krik signing out with Black Outdoors. Later, turtles.